What's up, guys? Your boy Shingi. Welcome back to the video. Um, is my ear good? Yeah, I just want to see my ear's good. So, yeah, we're gonna talk about how. Let me just set on my camera. We're gonna talk about how the the African teams, in the World Cup, and how the mentality's in the bin. All right, the mentality's in the bin, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. All right. So why is it that African teams, yeah, they've been so bad. Like, okay, they're not bad, I mean, 9 out of 10, of the African teams qualified for the round of 32. Yes, that's great. But I'm sorry, like, how is it possible that you guys perform like that? You perform like that, and you start by performing like, being the better side by far, yeah. And then you guys end up, bottling it in the end. Like, I just need to know that because I'm just sick of it. All right, like, and it's been happening way too often. It happened way too often. This knockout, um, these knockout stages. All right, um, uh, like for example, Ivory Coast versus Germany, in the group stages. Ivory Coast. They started playing well. Started off by playing well. They even scored the first goal. Frank Kessie, I remember, scored that goal. Yeah, they were playing very well against Germany. You know, the German side who are washed. You know, they started off very well, and then they couldn't even finish their dinner. They couldn't even finish their dinner. All right, I remember at one point, they even had a chance to go 2-0 up. They even had a chance to go 2-0 up, and they were like, nope, nah, we're not built for this. Right? And then only for Dennis Undaf to just come on and just score 2 goals and win the game. And I'm like, what? Hey, okay, I was like, all right, cool, cool, cool. And then, um, what other game was there? Yeah, I think we're gonna skip say to the knockout stages because that's where this whole thing has been happening. That's where this whole thing has been happening. You know, so um, where else? South Africa. South Africa played against Canada. Yeah, it's played against Canada, and yeah, I watched the game, and South Africa, I mean, they could have been better, but they couldn't even finish as well. It's like the defense was so good. The defense was so good. And Bokazi, by the way, he was class. He was class. I think lots of clubs will be monitoring this summer. Even if Chelsea, get him, I I wouldn't even rule out the idea. But anyway, yeah, Bokazi, performing very well, and the attack was just so bad, so mid, and you wonder, man, like you wonder about this. Um, I mean, you wonder, like I thought they were gonna win. I thought it was going to go into extra time, and then Canada for them to just score in the 90th minute. You know, just for them to just score in the 90th minute, and send these South Africans back home. Um, I'll not speak further on that though. But yeah, and yeah, it's and then we go to what do we go to next? I think we go to DRC. DRC, yeah. No, we go to Cote d'Ivoire versus Norway. So, um, yeah, this game also started off very well for Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire started off very well, attacking, they attacking, and they have lots of chances. Nicolas Pepe, had lots of chances to, um, put Ivory Coast in the lead, and then Antonio Nusa scores that brilliant goal. And you look at the Ivorians, and you're like, yo, like you couldn't even finish your chances there, man. Like, why couldn't you finish your chances? You know. And then in the second half, yeah, mm, Norway, they were a bit better, but then yeah, Ivory Coast, brought on Amad Diallo, who um, I cannot even comprehend why he was on the bench. I mean, he scored the win against Ecuador, and then why did he start on the bench? In this game, I don't get it. But anyway, yeah, he scores a brilliant goal that is Golf the um, tournament contender for sure. And then the Ivorians were like, yeah, we don't want to go to the to the round of 16. We just want to go home. And then they just let Haaland score one of the most pathetic goals ever. That was pathetic, right? Like the touch, for that goal, like he wasn't even supposed to score that, and he was left unmarked as well. Like, jeez. But anyway, yeah, I have to credit that to Oscar Bob. What a pass from him to Odegaard, and Odegaard squares it for Ireland, and they scored the winner. But still, man, you know, and I was like, it happened again. It happened again, and then yesterday, um, DRC versus England. Yeah, so DRC, started off very well as well. Started off very well. Scored, um, scored in like 6 minutes or 8 minutes. I don't know. Yeah, they scored in 6 or 8 minutes, and then they had another chance. One Bissaka, crossing it into Johan Wissa, and he hit the post. He hit the post, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like where is our luck, man? But yeah, I genuinely thought that DR Congo would see out a win here. But then I think the moment Harry Kane, man, like he finally beat Lionel Mpasi, who had a brilliant game. Like what a keeper, man, what a guy. But Harry Kane, just a world class, striker, and he scored 2 goals to win it for for England, and there again, an African team starting off very well, and then not finishing the game, and then we have the worst of it all, Senegal and Belgium. All right, like just this was the nail in the coffin. All right, this one finished me, man. Like, how is it possible that Senegal were the they were the better team? All right, they're the better team. All right, they're playing so well, playing, fantastic, sexy football, mouth-watering football. And they score. The first goal. Who scored? I mean, Diarra scored the first goal, which was a rebound. They scored the first goal, and they be pushing for a second goal, and I'm like, who? I hope they get a second goal so that they just finish this washed Belgian team, yeah. And then Ismail Assar puts them 2-0 up in like the 51st minute, and then I'm like, finally, an African team, can actually finish off a European team. They can actually go to the round of 16. They can actually win a knockout round. All right. And I was sure of it. I was sure of it. I was like, who? Surely nothing can happen here. Oh my goodness, was everyone wrong? Was everyone wrong? If someone was from the future was to come, before the 86th minute and say, yo, Senegal gonna lose this match, mate. I'll be like, yo, I'm gonna give you belt to ass right now. I'm gonna just be like, yo, you're lying. Like, there's no way, And then it happened. All right, they let Lukaku score to get them back in the game, and then when they got back in the game, I was like, yeah, they just scored a consolation goal. I mean, they got back in the game, but consolation goal. Surely nothing can happen. And then the Senegalese goalkeeper. he comes out and doesn't even punch the ball away. The ball is put in, and the goalkeeper doesn't even come to put the ball away. And they Yuri Tillemans gets his head in and scores the equalizer, and it's 2-2 going to extra time. And at that point, I was like, yeah, they deserve to lose. They deserve to lose because you can't do that. You cannot do that, right? And I was like, oh man, not again. Why African teams like this, right? And people can say in that game they got robbed. Like me personally, like I don't really have my opinion on that one. But even if they got robbed, probably deserve to get robbed, man. Probably deserved it. They probably deserve to lose, alright? Because no way, I mean, even the referee probably was like, yeah, just get them out because you cannot do that against this, washed Belgium side. You cannot do that. You cannot bottle a 2 goal lead, alright? Let them score 2 goals in 3 minutes. That's disgraceful. That is a disgrace. I mean, that is a disgrace, alright? And Senegal have nothing to blame but themselves, alright? Probably, when Belgium scored the equalizer, yeah, probably should have just walked off the pitch. They probably should have just walked off the pitch, right? Because at that point, you should just forfeit the game, right? Forfeit the game, all right? Um, and yeah, you should probably give the African Cup to Morocco, you know. Who, yeah, I'm gonna come to now, um, give the African Cup to Morocco. They are the European champions because they are actually, the African team that's going to actually, do go far, you know, just like they did 4 years ago. You know, they're, you know, they have the mentality, and I'm gonna say this, a majority of, those players in the Moroccan team were born in Europe. So yeah, I mean that could play a factor, I guess, but yeah, they're still African, and that counts for something, right? Yeah, and I think the same can be said for DRC as well. I mean, most of the players were born in France. They were born and grew up in France, but they couldn't even do anything against England. All right. So yeah, all I want to say is that this mentality, Africa's mentality has to stop. All right, it has to stop. All right, if we're gonna go, very far in the World Cup. Yeah, if we're gonna win the World Cup one day, if one of us is gonna win the World Cup, we have to actually like know how to defend, know how to finish teams off. Stop with this inferiority complex. Like what? Are you afraid to embarrass big teams? Like what's wrong, man? I don't get it, and hopefully Algeria, Ghana, and Morocco, I know they'll definitely go far in this tournament, but Algeria and Ghana, I mean, I hope they will go far. I just get to the quarterfinals, all right. Whoever is going to whoever is going to go far, just get to the quarterfinals, all right. Like if you get to the quarterfinals, you know if at least two teams get to the quarterfinals from Africa, yeah, I mean that makes up for the absolute dross that we've seen this round of 32 from African teams. All right. Anyway, yeah, that's just my opinion and my take on these recent bottlings by African teams. All right, like it has to stop, and I'm sick of it. All right, I'm sick of it. Anyway, let me know what you think, guys. Do you think the same? And if you like what you see, um, why don't you just subscribe, man? Why don't you just subscribe? Help your brother out. It's absolutely free, and like and comment. You know, you just be supporting the channel. And turn off notification bell for the latest uploads. Thank you guys so much. Ciao.